Bible in a minute. Genesis 39. So this chapter is getting back on track with Joseph's story. Remember, we covered Joseph in chapter 37. We had an aside with Judah and the shenanigans of Judah and Tamar. And then now we're back in Genesis 39 with Joseph's story arc, which will take us to the end of the book of Genesis. And so this is where Joseph finds himself in Egypt, the slave now to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, and the captain of the guard. So this is not just some peasant that bought Joseph. Like, this is the captain of Pharaoh's elite guard here, as best as we can assume and understand. And so, but the Bible says that Adonai, God, was with Joseph. Everywhere Joseph was, everything that Joseph did, you'll see this theme that God was with him and blessed other people because of him. Blessed Potiphar, blessed the jailer, blessed the warden, blessed Pharaoh because of Joseph, because of Joseph's integrity, because Joseph held to his integrity, because he believed God. And so the Bible says that Adonai prospered everything that Potiphar did because Joseph was for Joseph's sake. And so, but what it does is it sets up this unfortunate situation for Joseph. But it also creates this dynamic where God puts Joseph exactly where Joseph is needed. Is Joseph going to enjoy the next couple years? He's not. He's not. But God is setting the stage for Joseph to be exactly where he's supposed to be. If you've read the story, or if you haven't read the story, basically Potiphar's wife tries to get Joseph to be intimate with her. He refuses. He says, my master has not put anything under, or has not withheld anything from my leadership except for you. How could I do such a thing and sin against God? He recognized that yes, he would be sinning against Potiphar because that was his master. He'd be sinning against himself, but really, ultimately, the sin would be against God for him to sleep with a married woman and a woman who's not his wife. And so she kept pressing him, verse 10 of chapter 39, kept pressing him day after day, but he didn't listen to her. He refused to sleep with her. He wouldn't even be with her. He would leave the room if she were there. Finally, she grabbed onto him and demanded that he sleep with her, and he refused and left. And he left his robe in her hand. And so when Potiphar comes back, she says, your slave treated me disgracefully. He tried to sleep with me. So she turned the tables and lied about Joseph. And this ends up putting Joseph in prison because of this false accusation. Sure, I know he wanted to, and he might have pled his case. We don't know what his response was in this situation. He was innocent. He didn't do what he was accused of, and it landed him in jail. So he's got to think, look, my brothers hate me. They were going to kill me, but instead they sold me to slavery. I'm in slavery. I'm doing good. My master's prospering. He's given me favor. Because God is giving me favor, and then I get falsely accused of something I didn't even do. Now I'm in jail. So he's in a foreign country, in Egypt, in a foreign jail, and this is the jail for like the Pharaoh's enemies. This isn't like the regular jail. This is where the people who have offended the top echelon of leadership are going to be sent. But in verse 21 it says, but Adonai, the Lord, was with Joseph, showing him grace and giving him favor in the sight of the prison warden. So even in the prison, he was faithful. Even in the prison, he was blessed. Now, make the application there. Regardless of where you find yourself, you can still be faithful. You can still hold your integrity. It doesn't matter if everything is falling apart in your life, you can still be faithful to God, because what God will do is see how you react when everything is falling apart. See the integrity of your heart, and he will bless you because of it. And that is what we see in the next few chapters, is how God gets Joseph out of the prison and elevates him to the second in command in all of Egypt. That is Genesis 39.